Imagine this. You walk into a room to present the most important idea of your life. You have the data. You have the proof. You have already made $2.3 million before the product even launched. And the first thing the man at the head of the table says, before you finish your second slide, is, beauty tech is a crowded space. Now imagine you're 23 years old. And you're the only woman in that room. And you know with the certainty of someone who has done 6 months of unignorable research, that the market he just dismissed is worth $168 billion and no one in that room has ever built a single product for it. What do? Do you shrink? Do you apologize? Or do you walk out of that meeting, call your co-founder, and say 4 words that change everything? We don't need them. This is the story of Zara Mensah. And I need you to stay with me, because what she built next didn't just change the beauty industry. It changed who gets to sit at the table. A $168 billion market. Ignored, underserved, and completely unprotected, until one 23-year-old decided that was a design problem. Design problems get solved. Zara Mensah walks into a venture capital pitch meeting. There are 11 people in the room. She is the only woman. She is the only person of color. She is also the only person with a product that has already generated $2.3 million in pre-launch revenue. She has asked for $4 million. She has brought the numbers, the prototype, the traction data, the customer testimonials, and a market analysis that took 6 weeks to build. The partner running the meeting looks at her pitch deck for 40 seconds. Then he looks up and says, beauty tech is a crowded space. Zara says, sir, no one in this space has built what I've built. And your fund's portfolio has 0 companies founded by Black women. He blinks. She waits. The meeting runs another 47 minutes. They pass. She walks out, calls her co-founder, and says 4 words, we don't need them. Zara Mensah grows up watching her mother, a dermatologist, field the same complaint from patients of color for 20 years. No skincare technology was built with darker skin tones as the baseline. Everything was an afterthought. A shade extension. A footnote. At 19, Zara is studying computer science at UCL in London. She builds a skin analysis algorithm as a 3rd-year project, a mobile app that reads melanin levels, skin undertones, and microclimate data to recommend personalized skincare routines. She tests it on 400 volunteers, 300 of them women with Fitzpatrick skin types 4 through 6, the group the beauty industry had consistently underserved. Accuracy rate, 91%. Her lecturer gives the project a distinction. She gives it a company name, LUM. Zara spends 6 months building the business case. What she finds is not a niche. It is a catastrophe of neglect. Women of color represent 36% of global beauty consumers but receive less than 5% of beauty tech R&D investment. The global beauty industry is worth $600 billion. The underserved segment, darker skin tones, natural hair, melanin-rich complexions, accounts for an estimated $168 billion of that total and is growing at 2.4x the rate of the rest of the market. Zara prints these numbers on a single page. She frames it and puts it on her wall. She calls it the blind spot. It will become the first slide of every pitch she ever gives. Zara meets Dr. Priya Nair at a Women in Tech panel at Imperial College. Priya is 26, a biochemist with a patent in melanin-reactive polymer compounds and 0 interest in working for a corporation. They talk for 3 hours after the panel ends. By midnight, they have agreed on one thing. The beauty industry's technology problem is also a chemistry problem. Priya's compounds can be embedded in skincare formulations that respond to individual melanin concentrations. Not a standard formula, not a shade range, but a product that literally adapts to the skin wearing it. Zara's algorithm can predict which compound ratio a user needs from a 10-second phone camera scan. Together, the 2 technologies create something that has never existed, truly personalized skincare, built from the skin up. Priya says, how much funding do we have? Zara says, none yet. Priya says, good. That means nobody has told us it can't be done yet. The first LUM prototype is formulated in Priya's bathroom using lab-grade equipment bought on second-hand academic auction sites. The first 30 test users are Zara's university contacts, WhatsApp groups, and her mother's dermatology patients. Results after 8 weeks, 94% of testers report better skin health outcomes than with their previous routine. 89% say it is the first product they have used that felt built for them specifically. Zara's mother, Dr. Abina Mensah, sends a voice note, Zara, I have been telling patients for 20 years that nothing on the market was designed for their skin. I am going to have to stop saying that now. Zara plays the voice note at every all-hands meeting for the next 3 years. Zara pitches LUM to 19 investors over 4 months. 17 say no. The rejection patterns are instructive. For investors say the market is too niche. Zara's response, she emails each of them a copy of the blind spot page with one line appended, $168 billion is not a niche. It is a category you have chosen not to see. 2 investors say beauty tech isn't a fit for their portfolio. Zara notes both portfolios include 3 male-founded grooming brands. One investor says, without apparent irony, who's going to run the business side? She is standing in front of him with a 94% efficacy rate, $2.3 million in pre-launch orders, and a biochemist co-founder with a patent. She smiles. She says, I am. She does not get a second meeting. She builds a file. She labels it, the record. Zara's 20th pitch is to Funmaleo Okafor, a Lagos-born, London-based angel investor who spent 15 years in pharmaceutical R&D before moving into venture. She reads the entire deck before the meeting. She arrives with 12 questions written down. The meeting runs 2 hours. FundMe asks about the patent status of Priya's compounds, the regulatory pathway for adaptive cosmetic chemistry, the 3-year scale model, and the plan for manufacturing at volume without sacrificing compound integrity. Zara answers every question. At the end, FundMe closes her notebook. She says, "I've been waiting for this pitch for 11 years. She writes a check for £400,000. She says, "Don't thank me. Show me the Series A in 18 months. Zara shows her the Series A in 14. Lum launches direct-to-consumer with zero advertising spend. Within 4 months it has 50,000 active users across 3 countries. Every single one came from word of mouth. The mechanism is not marketing. It is accuracy. When a product works for skin that has never been accurately served, the user does not stay quiet." A 28-year-old teacher in Atlanta posts a 6-week skin comparison on Instagram, 2.3 million views. A beauty journalist in Lagos writes a 3,000-word piece titled, "The Algorithm That Finally Sees Me." A dermatology forum in London threads 400 posts about Lum's ingredient transparency. Zara reads every post. She responds to 40 of them personally. She writes in her notebook, "The product is doing the marketing. Our job is to make sure the product keeps earning it." Priya's adaptive melanin reactive compound matrix receives full patent protection across 17 territories. It is the first cosmetic chemistry patent of its type ever filed. The patent examiner notes in her assessment that the compound class is without prior art in commercial cosmetic application. In plain language, nobody has done this before. The patent covers not just the specific compounds but the class of adaptive personalization chemistry. Zara frames the patent registration document and puts it beside the blind spot page on the office wall. Together, the 2 frames say everything. Here is the problem the world ignored, and here is the science that solves it, and nobody else can use it without asking. Lum closes a £6 million Series A led by a health tech fund whose investment committee is 60% women. For the first time in 2 years of fundraising, Zara is not the only woman in the room. She notices it the moment she walks in. She does not say anything about it during the meeting. After the term sheet is signed, the fund's managing partner, Ingrid Halvorsen, shakes her hand and says, "We knew about Lum 8 months ago. We wanted to see how you handled the market before we came in." Zara says, "You were watching?" Ingrid says, "We were watching." There is a pause. Zara says, "Was the bathroom lab a problem?" Ingrid says, "The bathroom lab was the best due diligence signal we saw all year." Zara laughs. It is the first time she has laughed in a pitch meeting. With series of funding, Zara builds the LUM lab, a production facility, R&D center, and community testing space, all in a converted warehouse in Hackney. She hires 41 people. 34 of them are women. 22 are women of color. This is not a diversity initiative. It is a hiring philosophy. Every hire is made on the basis that the team building for underserved skin should reflect the people those products serve. Zara does not announce this in a press release. She announces it in the way she runs interviews. Every candidate is asked the same question at the end. Tell me about a time you were the only person in the room who saw something everyone else had decided not to look at. The answers to that question fill 3 notebooks. She keeps all of them. Zara and her engineering team release LUM algorithm version 3.0, trained on 1.2 million skin scans from users across 42 countries, with Fitzpatrick types 4 to 6 representing 64% of the training data. No beauty tech algorithm in the world has ever been built on this demographic baseline. The technical paper Zara publishes with the release is downloaded 180,000 times in its first week, not by consumers, by dermatologists, cosmetic chemists, and rival R&D teams. 3 global beauty conglomerates request licensing conversations within 30 days. Zara takes none of the calls. She sends each of them a copy of the blind spot page instead. She includes a note: "When you're ready to build from the baseline up rather than extend from the top down, call us. We'll still be here." Lum crosses 250,000 active users across 51 countries. A third-party dermatology study, unsolicited, peer-reviewed, publishes results confirming Lum's efficacy rate across all Fitzpatrick types at 93.7%, the highest verified accuracy rating ever recorded for a consumer skincare algorithm. The study is published in the British Journal of Dermatology. It is cited 4,000 times in its first month. Zara's mother sends another voice note. This one is 9 seconds long. It is entirely composed of her crying and saying, "Zara, Zara." Zara plays it at the next all hands. Nobody says anything for 30 seconds after it ends. Then the lead biochemist starts clapping. The room follows. Lum's primary compound supplier fails a quality audit. 3 batches are recalled. 14,000 customers receive refunds. The incident costs £380,000 and 6 weeks of halted production. Zara's public statement goes out within 4 hours of the recall decision. "We found a compound consistency issue in 3 product batches. We are recalling them immediately, issuing full refunds, and pausing production until our supply chain is fully recertified." Here is exactly what happened. Here is our timeline for resolution. Here is what we are changing permanently. The post receives 44,000 shares. The most common comment: this is how every company should handle this. Customer churn during the 6-week pause, 3.1%. When production restarts, new orders in the first 48 hours exceed the entire recall volume. Honesty, it turns out, compounds. LUM closes a £28 million Series B. 3 of the 4 lead investors are institutional funds. All 3 have boards that are over 80% male. Zara notices. She does not stay quiet. In the Series B term sheet negotiation, Zara includes a clause that has never appeared in a beauty tech term sheet before, a board diversity commitment, requiring any LUM board seat held by an institutional investor to be filled by a woman or a person of color, or the seat reverts to founder control. 2 funds accept immediately. The third pushes back for 3 weeks. Their lead partner calls it unprecedented. Zara says, so is a 23-year-old black woman building a $200 million beauty tech company. I'm comfortable with unprecedented. The third fund signs. Zara commissions an independent research body to produce the first annual LUM Diversity Index, a public ranking of the 50 largest beauty companies globally, scored on board composition, R&D investment in underserved demographics, and product representation across Fitzpatrick types. The first index is published as a free public report. 41 of the 50 companies score below 40 out of 100. 3 score below 20. The report is downloaded 900,000 times in its first week. It is covered by the Financial Times, Vogue Business, and 14 national press outlets. 11 companies issue public responses within 14 days. 3 announce board appointments. Zara reads each announcement and adds it to a new file. She labels it movement, not moment.